We're officially live and welcome back to Live with Adriano Visagie. I'm super excited because today, just like any other Sunday, we've got phenomenal people that are doing amazing work. And this Sunday, we are joined by Mikiros Garoes, who is a filmmaker. She's an actress. She's a screenwriter. She studied film and music in Los Angeles. And in 2017, she decided, you know what, she's coming back home to Nam. Yeah, we got to be proud in Namibia and just really explore the art scene. So she will be joining us today. I'm going to quickly try to get a hold of her and then we are going to get and dive right into it. So if you do have any questions, if you want to share this video with anybody that you feel that might be interested, because I get a lot of messages and inboxes of people asking me, I want to step into the acting scene, I want to be in front of the camera. There's a lot that you can learn from our star for today. That's Mikiros Garoes, because I mean she's lived the Hollywood life that we all dream of, being in Los Angeles and having done amazing things that we're about to find out as well. So let me just quickly try to get a hold of Mikiros to do the things that make the things to be done and cook the pots that make the pots to be stirring right here on hashtag live with Adriano Visagie. So please do have any questions whatsoever, get to share this video as well. Mikiros, how are you?
Look here. I'm
Oh
excellent.
wow, you got a slate for us? Oh wow, that's amazing.
I hooked it up.
Should, should I count you in?
And
Action!
okay, 3, 2, 1, and
Two,
action.
action! There we go.
Awesome.
How are you, Mikiros?
I'm well. I'm so well. How are you, Adriano?
Well, thank you. You know, despite the times we're finding ourselves in, it's COVID-19. It's, I think now more than ever, Namibia facing, the third wave. As it's crazy, but I think the fact that we're alive and we're embracing this moment in time that we hear, it just speaks so much volume. But enough about that. You look so amazing. Thank you so much for dressing up. You look the part. You look like you just landed.
We haven't been to premieres in so long, so sometimes you gotta feel yourself a little bit. I said, let me dress up for Adriano, boy.
Oh wow, I love it. Much appreciated, Mikiros. Oh, Mikiros,
Oh,
I'm
anytime.
such a huge fan. Not just as an actor, but I've worked with you on production. I'm gonna dive right into it. Talk to us before the journey of going to Los Angeles. What was that like? Did you just decide, you know what, magically I'm just gonna get onto a plane and go pursue my career? What was that like?
It was a little bit more complicated than that. Well, not really, but I initially actually went for music. That's kind of my
Okay.
first love. Yeah. So I got into a music school in Los Angeles, in California, literally in the center of Hollywood. Yeah, and I was
Yeah.
there for a couple of years, and it was literally the most best time of my life. But ironically, I
Yeah.
wasn't pursuing it. Literally for the first year, I was just partying. I'm not gonna lie. I was
As any
pursuing it,
person
but
would.
yes, I was like little Namibian
Yeah.
girl here. I was like, oh, let me do the thing. So it was
Right.
a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
I learned so much. A lot of the stuff that prepared me for what I'm doing today, I feel like that was my training ground. And it started
Yeah.
with music
So,
school.
and it started with music school, but obviously with music, you become a performer. You don't just dive into, what, here I am doing music, but now you get into the craft of how do I act to make music interesting for an audience, and that maybe dived you into acting as well. So talk to us about that journey.
It's all performance. It's all art.
Mm,
It's all getting an audience to engage with you, getting an audience to, whether you wrote a song or you wrote a script, it's all just getting people to understand what was in your heart, telling a story. A song really is a
mm,
story, like a 2-minute story, but it has a narrative
yeah.
aspect to it, a lot of it. So I think
Right.
it's all the same. That's why I feel like the transition wasn't that hectic. Because
Yeah.
it's all kind of the same thing, performing, engaging crowds and audiences. And
Right.
yeah, that's how it started.
Was it easy for you to adopt?
To adapt? No, not at all.
Yeah.
I've always been obsessed with both, but I always actually I'm a movie nerd. I've always been a movie nerd. The people at my house growing up, They used to call me computer because I would know random information about Marilyn Monroe's first movie, a movie released in 1931. So I was always obsessed with movies and television and music. But music, I felt, especially growing up in Namibia, I felt like it was more realistic. So I started in Emma Wolfenoot choirs and Delta secondary school choirs and all of that stuff. So it wasn't a tough transition.
Kannst du Deutsch sprechen?
Ja, ich kann
Nur ein bisschen
Deutsch
oder
sprechen. Ein bisschen, ich kann Deutsch sprechen. Ja, aber das ist nicht,
so wunderbar.
Noch nicht. Das ist wunderbar. Du bist wunderbar, Schatzi.
Ja.
Yeah.
Ach so.
Yeah, we are Delta alumni one time.
One time for the G.
Delta.
So, Mikiros, you know, this thing that says, you know, music is hereditary and it comes from Africa, and the beauty of that narrative is that here you are in Los Angeles, and you know, music is also that transitions through you. Let's talk about how you found yourself in the audition room with, you know, Lupita Nyong'o auditioning for 12 Years a Slave, because I think
you
that
love that story, don't you?
I love that story because, you know, it's how often do you get that? You know, it's something that I think a lot of Namibians don't know. You've not maybe added that to your resume, and I'm about to plug that out, get that out of the head. Let's talk about that. Because you're a call away from very.
Let's see, how did it happen? Because like when 12 Years a Slave, the production started, when they started auditioning, I didn't know anything about it, but that was literally the time that I started acting, that I started getting a little bit more confident in acting. And everybody in LA, by the way, everyone in LA is pursuing acting. So I thought, okay, when in Rome, and I got myself an agent. And literally like a month or two after signing with an agency, they were like, listen, there's a new Brad Pitt production, Plan B, and I believe it was Sony, or was it Warner?
Yeah.
And they were like, they're looking for African girls. Authentic, not African American girls, they're looking for African girls, girls that were preferably born or raised in Africa. With short hair, and at the time I was blessed. I was like, blessed of me. And I had gold hair, so I literally had the look, so it was really good timing. And I didn't realize what a big deal was. I was just like, at that point, when you're trying to start acting, you must just go for anything. You really just want as much experience as possible. You're not picky. You don't have a right to be picky at that point.
Right.
So they called me in. They were like, okay, be here at Sony at so-and-so time. And I went in, and I'm not sure if I ever actually saw Lupita, but there were lots of beautiful, there were like 3-4 girls at the day that I was auditioning. And I just remember sitting and seeing like 3 other girls that looked similar to me. And one girl came out crying from like the scene she did. And I was like, ooh, child. And mind you, this was like my early days. I didn't have any experience. I had no confidence in myself, acting-wise. So it was super nerve-wracking, probably one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life. Definitely the most nerve-wracking.
I can imagine.
When I realized how big it was, when I went to Sony and I saw the lot, and then I saw like Brad Pitt's picture and everything, I was like, whoa, okay, I was never ready. And the audition was nerve-wracking, but it was really cool because I feel like the casting director did see something in me. She actually got up from her seat and she came and she was like, Mikiros, just don't be nervous. Let's sit on the floor and just have a conversation and just read the scene as a conversation. Don't be nervous. But I'm a terrible auditioner when I'm nervous. And that's 90% of the time. I definitely blew it, but there was something about her. She kept trying to, she was like, no, try again. So I think she took a liking to me, but so I did the best that I could. I didn't get it, and that's really all there was to it at the time, but it's an experience that I always treasure. You know, it grew me, because from that point on I was like, Mickey, get serious, get into some acting classes, do your thing, like really take it serious. But now in hindsight, I realized that it wasn't meant for me. It wasn't my journey. That was Lupita's journey. You know, at the time I was a little bitter. When I saw her get the Oscar, I was like,
Well, that could have been you. But I love how you put that. I love how you say that that is your journey and that is her journey. And there's many and greater things up, up the road for you and, up on your journey for you. What was the most important lesson from that experience for you? I know your dog is barking, but it's...
I'm like, this, hold on, let me get my...
Okay. So as we're live right now with Mikiros, please do throw in any questions you might have as well.
These ghetto ass
No, it's fine,
Namibian
Mikiros. Yeah.
Okay, so sorry, wait, what was the question that threw me? Like, what did I learn?
What did you learn from that moment? Yeah.
Just to hone your craft. Be prepared. Be a professional. Don't just coast on your personality, because up at that point, my personality had gotten me, quite to the places where I wanted to go. But with acting, there's a lot more to that. There's a seriousness you have to give it at some point. Get some training, get some confidence, ask questions, get on sets, even if you're not acting, whether you're a coffee runner or just an assistant, just know your craft and really learn how to fall in love with the craft of it, not just the excitement of being in front of the camera and the fun of it. That's why in Los Angeles, they always said the auditioning and all of that stuff, that's the work in acting. But when you get the role and you're on set, that's the fun.
Yeah,
so
you just have... Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love
absolutely.
That.
So I learned
and that for me also translates back to theater, because in theater, you've got 3 evenings of performance or a week of performance, and then there are moments I wish someone could really record the behind the scenes and the rehearsal process, because that for me feels like the work that you're putting into. And when you're on stage, you're literally just having fun.
Yeah. That's when you can live it. That's when you can get lost and just completely escape yourself and the audience. But the preparation, the rehearsals, the learning your lines, that's where you have to put in the work. And it really taught me that.
Yeah. So we're still going to keep it in Los Angeles. Here you are, not just pursuing music, not just auditioning, but you also performed at clubs, drag clubs. Let's get into that. What was that like for you? Because if there's one thing I appreciate about you and love about you is how you appreciate and celebrate your femininity, and also celebrating Pride Month this month. There's this beautiful transition of who you've been as a person. I've seen you perform at the R&B Song Night as well, and there's this energy of when you perform that's magical, and I'd love to see more of that as well. Tell us about what was that like, because it's obviously different from performing in nightclubs here.
Yeah, it was amazing. I learned so much. I grew so much. I became less scared, and I think that it made me fearless. Because by the time all of that finished, by the time I came back to Namibia, there was very little that scared me. And I think it was honed through those times. It was a lot of hard work, but like acting, the rehearsals in a band, because I was in a rock band. So imagine like all of my bandmates were white. So I was like a black African girl leading a rock band. It was amazing. We performed at clubs all over. Yeah, all over LA mainly, Santa Monica, the Valley, Long Beach, a lot of places. So it just grows. And the more you do it, the more confident you are. And I actually really, really miss it. Acting has been taking over because in Namibia, it's a bit more lucrative for me. But I genuinely, there's no feeling like being on stage and getting that energy, feeding off the energy from the crowd, the claps, the ovation. You've done theater, you know how that gets you going. There's no feeling like
that energy, because it's an energy thing. It's an energy thing. So, Mikiros, let's get back to 2017. You get back to Namibia. You work on amazing projects. One, for example, taxi driver, taxi
in Windhoek.
Taxi in Windhoek. And my absolute favorite, The Date. I love The Date. It's a personal project to you, I know, but you've worked on this short film, The Date, and it's been at the Durban Film Festival as well. Tell us about these films that you've worked on. Why comedy? Why the humor? Because you're such an open soul, and I think that translates. But why comedy?
Comedy is just what I've always gravitated to. Um, in my friend group, I was always the funny one. I was always the class clown. I always gravitated to comedy. Being funny and all that is something that comes very naturally to me. My dad, rest his soul, he was super, super funny. So I think I got a lot of that from him. And comedy is just easy for me, especially being Namibian. I think we're all very underrated comedians, whether we like it or not. And I don't know, it's something you can't really explain why you are the way that you are. You just are who you are and run with it and try and milk it and try to monetize it. But it's just something I've just always had that kind of, I've always looked through at life through a humorous lens. And I guess maybe it's also like some sort of way for me to cope with, you know, life struggles, you know, tries to see the humor and stuff. So that's just who I am. So naturally, I just try to
do you feel that we relaxing, do you feel that we're lacking the humor in things as a society? Because you find films that are really depicting what society is about, and people relate to that, but also forgotten what it's like to just laugh and, you know, sit down. I mean, the last time I really laughed was at a Mr. Bean joke, or, you know, but
I love him.
and then, you know, here I watched The Date at the theater school, and I just laughed. Firstly, because of the successful woman that's trying to find a perfect date. You know, how often do we laugh, you know? So kudos to you on that.
Oh, thank you. Laughter is everything. I mean, just by default, life is hard. No matter who you are, how much prestige you have, what status no one is exempt from life. Nobody gets out of life alive. So we need something to cushion that, or else I personally wouldn't want to live in this world if there wasn't any humor or something to make things just a little bit easier. You know, we need that. I think it's healthy medically.
True.
To laugh.
True. To laugh. You spoke about coming back to Namibia, where theater and film and, you know, being a screenwriter has been more lucrative than it was in the States for you. Please explain that, because a lot of artists would say, you know, being here is not lucrative, or we don't get to work on projects a lot. How do we change that narrative? Because I believe, you know, the fact, I'm not saying I'm overbooked, but there are gigs in Namibia. So, but, you know,
I know your ass is overbooked. For me, it was in my personal journey, I just wasn't confident there, because that's when I was starting off. That's when I was doing all my training, and I just wasn't. It took me a long time to really fit in my skin, to really understand what my niche is. So it's also a thing of knowing who you are as a person, because that will kind of navigate your career and where you want to go, and specifically what's your thing. And I feel like that time over there was to figure that out, because when I went, I just went like, oh, music school, whatever. But then in being there and being in a band and starting to audition, did I really start to come into myself as Mikiros the performer. So that's why when my time was up there and I came back here, I knew who I was. It trained me for being here. So, and now hopefully, you know, I can still go back. I do, not to live necessarily, but absolutely, I would love to write some stuff, go over there, produce, direct. I would rather live here or in Europe, maybe.
Yeah,
that's the dream. But, so it was a very, very personal journey for me, and sometimes. I mean, your time is your time, everything in due course, you know? And now I look back, I always feel like, I wish I was as confident as I am now back then. But that's just not how it worked out for me. I needed to learn a lot of things. I really, really did. And it was a training ground. So by the time I got here, I was like, okay, I know who I am. I know what I want to do. I got trained by the right people. I had a lot of amazing mentors too, a lot of great acting teachers. I met a lot of people I worked with, other comedians, and so it was just, everybody has a different journey. That was mine.
Yeah. And then you come back home and you win Best Actress in Theatre. Can we talk about that?
That was one. It was so random, but I appreciate it, because I actually did that play. I got the award in 2019, but I did the play in 2017. It was a one-woman show. I played, I think, 6, 7, 8 characters. And I've done a one-woman show too in the States once where I played like 10 characters. So, and that's where I learned how to do that. So I really did it just to get my foot wet in the Namibian scene, because I was just looking. Right. I used to go to the theater school, like, what can I audition for? What's out there? Who do I talk to? Who are the people in the industry that I need to link up with? And Oshi really helped me. She's the one that gave me the names of everyone. God rest her soul. She really is the one, the first person that took a meeting with me and just gave me the layout of everything. I'm pretty sure she mentioned your name too. She was like, okay, these are the big hitters. These are the ones you want to work with. And yeah, literally within a month of being back, I was just like, I like things. I just went everywhere and anywhere. Who can I talk to? Who's writing what? What can I be a part of? And I auditioned for Kemokhotsi Mola for his play. It was actually David Njavela who reached out to me, and they're like, they're doing a one-woman show. They're looking for a multifaceted sort of actress. And and I read the script and I memorized. It was like 40, 50 pages of memorizing for 2 months. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Literally, I've never had to memorize so much. It was intense, bro. I was shaking. And And I needed that role because, and I didn't expect any awards for it. I honestly just did it to get my feet wet and to have people come and see what I do and everything. And then, so when they nominated me like 2 years later, I was like, dude, that was 2 years ago. Okay. But I was so,
yeah. Because I remember one, you said that you know what? I didn't expect this, and you didn't expect the nomination, but once again, congratulations. I just want to say thank you so much to Florence Schott, as well as Tuli Malila Shituete, who's also tuning to our live. Thank you so much. And please just drop some hearts for Mikiros, because she really does look beautiful. You know, Diana Ross decided to copy your look and bring it to 2021, because girl, you on fire.
I have to keep up with you. I have to keep up with it. Like, I can't, go on Adriano's show looking like a bum. You know, we gotta look fast, honey. Fast.
Yeah, I stop it, girl. Listen, so here you are. You've worked with Oshosheni, and she's also been that guide. And I think, moreover, you know, celebrating her life and what Oshosheni has led for females and female in theater and women in screen has played such a major role that one can see it has multiplied. It has multiplied with our women that we now see taking up space in film and theater as well. So well done to you on that. And it's really about knocking on people's doors and saying, you know what, here I am, I would love to work. And I always say collaboration is the key, you know.
100%. No one can do anything alone. You can't do this alone. It's such a collaborative effort from everyone. You have to knock on doors. You cannot expect someone to hand this to you on a silver platter. That's also another thing that Los Angeles taught me. You gotta hustle. You know, there are a million people that will take your place. You have to let people know, okay, this is me, this is me, this is what I do. What's up? What can I do? What can you give me? How can we collab? What can we do? Just let's do something. What can we do?
True.
And
absolutely. So fast forward, here you are working with Philippe Talavera on KAPANA, where you collaborated with Senga in terms of writing the script of KAPANA. Take us behind that. Oh, wow.
Senga! I love her. You know what? That was a very life-changing experience for me, because it was the first time that I wrote something that was someone else's. Usually I write my own thing, I go with my own little crazy ideas. I don't really that's it. So this was the first experience on a very large scale that was somebody else's dream, and I had to sort of bring that to life. And Senga broke her off there. Not only is she like super smart, I mean exceptionally smart. She probably has a higher than average IQ. Working with her was fantastic because it was very relaxed, very relaxed. First, we were sent outside of Windhoek, like a little lodge, with Felipe and the crew at Oyo, to develop the script, ideas, brainstorm. And then after we kind of got the foundations of it, then Senga and I were on our own for like the next couple of 2-3 weeks, just going back and forth. So we used to meet every day. We used to write at my sister's house in Kleine Cooper. She has a pool and everything. So we used to sit there, drink our little things, eat, take little breaks, and then write. And it was just, yes, yeah. So it was very relaxed, literally just chilling, literally from maybe 12 to 7 at night, just back and forth. What do you think of this? What do you think of that? And where I lacked, she strengthened me up, and vice versa. So it was very normal, very fun, very easy. And I was intimidated because I'd never read like a real film script before. So I was a little bit intimidated. But then when I got together with Senga and I met Felipe, and I was just like, oh, this is mad chill. So they provided a very relaxed environment that made the ideas just flow very easily. So it was a great experience. Yeah, one of my favorites.
So you not just wrote the script, co-wrote it rather, but you also co-starred in this as Frida, who played George's best friend. What was that like for you? Because, you know, honestly, I acted alongside you, and I've always said this, it's every time I'm able to learn something new, whether on set, because that was my third film that I starred in, has been so amazing. But I was so angry at both you and Senga for the direction in which you took it. Because I was like, why are you letting this character go through all these emotions? You know, like George went through the emotions of being in a pool, being punched at KAPANA, being, you know, it's all these, you know, these vulnerable positions that you put a black colored man in, and how does that transition? But well done to the script. How did you feel starring in a film that you co-wrote and you starred in?
Well, it was also random, very last minute. Felipe actually approached me. He was like, would you be open to play Frida? And when we wrote it, obviously that was never in my mind. I just like every other character, you just want to write a good character, an authentic character, someone that feels real, and someone that kind of helps the narrative along. So that's really was my only goal when we were writing it. So Felipe, weeks later, was like, you want to do it? And, you know, I like things. So I was like, why not? Why not? So it was, even though I wrote it, it was an honor that he asked me, because it feels great when people trust you to do your thing and to help in something that's so much bigger than you. So it really was an honor. And Frida was fun to play. Honestly, I didn't have to stretch that much acting wise, because George's family, or George's people on his side, were very light. They were happy, supportive. So that's not something hard for me to play, you know. She's a very supportive friend, and I consider myself to be, I take my friendships really serious. The people that I'm close with, it's like family, my friends. So yeah, it wasn't the stretch. And my main thing was just to have fun with it and keep it authentic, and just, it wasn't about Frida, about Frida being there for George.
Yeah.
So like,
and maybe if I could say, how does that translate in your daily life? Because here you are as an actress, you know, you played this role as Frida, but you also say that, and this is what I love about you, is that how genuine you are as an individual, and how people can relate to you in so many different manners. One can bump into you and say, you know, hey, Mikiros, and you know, you're an energy. You're an energy that I love being attracted to, and I respect you as a being. But how does that translate in your modern day life? Because you can't be an actress all the time. How does that translate?
I mean, you have to know when to switch it off and switch it on. Because I'm human, I still have my moments. I'm not always on. You know, you have to find that fine balance and try not to take your work home with you, or you to take your home or you to take your like personal stuff on set with you. That's just something. Also, it takes time. It takes time. It's something you develop. The more work you do, the more acting jobs you have, the more better and in tune you are with switching things on and holding back at certain, you know, parts, being Mikiros, finding that line between the character and Mikiros. And again, it's just like, it's a muscle that you build. You get better the more acting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think at the
I've come
that kind
across
of toned it down.
Yeah. I've come across a lot of actors that say there's not a lot of opportunities for us. There's not a lot of
Risen.
opportunities for us to explore. And I can attest in the sense that I cannot call being an actor my full-time job. How
Yeah.
do you think we can change this narrative? You know, I think the Film Commission does what it possibly can to do. How do we change this narrative? How do we build a generation that the younger Mikiros from 10 years from now can say, you know what, I've just graduated from high school. I want to go study film. I want to go study acting. And the family and parents can be supportive of that dream.
I don't know. That's a really tough one. I think the way we're doing it now, which I love about existing in this day and age, even though it's still hard, is that we can create our own. Because a lot of the times it was having to go out and waiting for people to give it to you. And I feel like in this day of social media, you can actually create your own. It's not as impossible as it used to be. It's still going to be hard, but I feel like it's less challenging in this digital age, where literally all you need is a phone. Justin Bieber got discovered on Instagram. You don't need $1 million equipment anymore, brah. All you just need is a drive and just your talent and bravery. Because, you know, you're not always going to have everybody that loves you. So you just have to have courage just to do your own thing. And that's also something I learned in Los Angeles, which I'm applying to here, because I had more rejections than I had lots of no's. Like literally 3 yeses.
Yeah.
When I was older.
I can imagine.
Yeah, no, it's tough. But that's when I knew I had to be like, okay, but Miki, what else are you good at? You have to find all your skills. And I realized I'm a good writer. I've always been a good writer since school. And so I had to forge my own path in that way. I had to start writing my own stories, casting myself and stuff. Okay, you won't cast me. Oh, you guys rejected me. Okay, I have a camera. I have a brain. I'm a good writer. I might just have to do it my damn self. And that's always what I tell people. So I don't know the larger question of what we can do for that narrative. I just know what you can do individually for yourself. And that is do it yourself. Get yourself a camera, get your little friends, your little crew. It doesn't have to be too crazy, crazy productions, lights, and just start. And I feel if you stick with it long enough, something will stick. And then you inspire other people to do it as well. And then before you know it, you pass it forward. And before you know it, you have little production companies. You have your own little crew. And that's really how you build it. It's just baby steps. So I can only speak for what I do and what's working.
Absolutely. I love that. I want to read a few of, you know, the questions that some of your followers, and I want to say there's some fans because you are international. They asked us, okay, so the first question is here, which part of the family do you resonate more? I think this is someone that knows you personally, because they said, is it the Nama or the Ovambo part? I presume Damara part or the Ovambo. Yeah. Which part of the family do you resonate to more?
Do I relate to more? I would have to say Oshiwambo, just because I grew up more with that. My dad passed away when I was early teens, so I didn't spend as much time on that side of the family. So definitely the Vambo side, I grew up with that side more. I speak it a bit more. And like every holiday, I would have to go to Tsumeb, to the north. So it's all I know. Like only now in recent years, since I've come back, have I been taking more time to go to Groothoop and to the south and to get to know my Damara side a little bit more. But where I definitely feel more at home and the most family members that I know is definitely on the Vambo side. I'm an Akwenye. My Zali's, her maiden name is Akwenye. And Nangolos, and Kipangas. So definitely Vambo side.
Thank you. The next question here says, I followed your work and I absolutely loved the date. Would you be keen on collaborating? And if so, what kind of collaboration would you like from a director's view? Okay. That basically just talking about collaborating. Yeah.
Yeah. Collaboration is everything. I'm always down for the collaboration, as long as the circumstances add up and it's something that speaks to me. I mean, obviously, you're not going to collaborate with just anything. It has to be something that you feel that you can add value to, and something that genuinely speaks to you, because I feel like that's how you get authentic work, is if you connect with it on some level. Yeah, I'm always down for collaboration. It doesn't really matter what genre. I think comedy is what I naturally. Yeah, so any collaboration, any genre, I'm definitely always open to. If the story's strong enough, if the cast is strong enough, if whoever's pitching me the idea is passionate enough, I'm like, yeah, man, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I'm down for whatever.
Okay. And then the other question here, I think this is the final question from one of your followers. They're simply asking, hey, Mikiros, I really love your work. I wanted to find out, if you could go back to the States, who would you want to work with? And I think this is, you know, this can either speak for an actress or producer or director. Who would you love to finally work with? Because I mean, Viola Davis might be watching this very soon, or you know, Selomaki Kanube might be watching this soon, or Connie Ferguson might be watching this video. Who would you love?
So many. If I was on a set with Viola Davis, I'll get fired because I'll just be there the whole time.
Yeah.
Love her. I really admire like Issa Rae.
Yeah.
I think yeah, because she has that kind of balance, you know. Funny, very modern, very realistic depictions of what like modern women, Black women in particular, are going through. I really like her voice.
Yeah.
I really like what she brings to the world. And she balances this like seriousness and comedy very well. It's funny enough that it makes you chuckle, but not funny, too funny that it becomes ridiculous and you don't take it serious. I love that balance. And then, like, I love Ryan Murphy. His work is really good.
Oh,
Ryan
yes.
Murphy's producers like Ryan Murphy,
Yeah.
Judd Apatow, and even Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, I love just because he's such an inspiration. Like from where he started and like where he is now, to be the only Black person that has, you know, their own studio, I think that is so inspiring. Even if I don't work with him, that's someone I would like to be around, just to watch how they move, watch how they do things, watch how they talk to people, watch how they make things happen. Like just to shadow him, that would be good enough for me. Yeah, I really like Tyler Perry.
I want to dive into, you know, you mentioned firstly you mentioned Issa Rae, that I appreciate that, because I see a lot of her in you and you in her, in the sense that you spoke about, you know, if an opportunity doesn't come, you create that opportunity. And I feel many a times now, you, even with coming back to the film The Date, you plowed back money of your own in that production. Why is it so hard for Namibians to reach that Cannes? You know, we've reached Los Angeles, we've reached you know, a few awards, just like your current nomination, and I just want to snap for that, because you're nominated currently at the International Black Film Festival in Canada. Yeah, Black Diversity Film as supporting actress.
Yes.
What's next? Why is it that we cannot reach the Academy or Cannes, for example? Recently, we saw Tusum Bedo from South Africa. She's making it so big, and this is just neighboring. We've seen, you know, bigger actresses from Africa that really steps into it. When and how can we sort of align with Namibian actors and actresses following suit as well?
I don't know. That's a very good question. I think we'll get there. I think it's a time thing. I feel like Namibia, a lot of the times, it's a little sad that we're always a little bit behind in things. We take a little bit slower to get to where the rest of the world is. You know, maybe it's societal, economical. I'm sure there are like lots of factors. It's not as easy just to say why we are not there. But I feel like it's just a very slow process. But I feel like we're getting there. We just got on Netflix.
Yeah.
Shout out to Florian. And I feel like the more us, like people like you, myself, and other young people that are kind of just taking things into their own hands, I really feel like if we just keep pushing and we keep going, eventually we will get to a kind. It's not going to happen overnight, because the industry, the way it is, where it is now, it took a really long time, like since independence, before that. Yeah, so it's a time thing. It's something that we have to keep working at. I feel like we will get there, and industry is getting step by step a little bit there. So I think it's just a time thing. We have to keep pushing, and eventually. Not hope it's in 100 years, but I honestly think within the next decade, we can slowly but surely come in and cons things. But we need more unique voices. We need to be more brave, and just to, like, for me, after the date, I was broke for a minute, but I knew that it was something bigger than just me.
Good
hopefully it would inspire another girl like me to be like, okay, maybe I can also take a risk and make a movie. So
True. Do you feel that there's enough support? And when I say this, I mean in a sense that, yes, the Film Commission does what it can, possibly, but I believe, do you feel that there's enough support? You know, I love what Steffi Brun says here. I believe it's all about, you know, honoring your skills personally, be prepared for the big break. And this is what I love about that, because you cannot prepare for something if you're not ready for it. You know, just like an athlete, you can't say I'm running the Olympics tomorrow and you've not prepared for it. You need to exercise and be ready for when that opportunity comes. But what if that opportunity is, you know, so close to it that, you know, it requires someone to just put their signature on. It requires a different organization to just say, we're opening ourselves up for funding. We're opening ourselves to knock on the doors of the Ministry of Information, the Ministry of Sports and Culture. We're opening up our doors to say, you know what, churches, come to the forefront. Let's create your stages for arts. You know, and I bring this back in the sense that the inspiration from acting started when we all played, you know, Mary and Joseph and the Disciples, and that is where acting started. And for many, that's where it starts. But how is this craft being groomed today? You know what? Just like Jennifer Hudson, who sang in church, just like Whitney Houston, who first sang in church, then became this big star, you know? So how are we grooming this from different organizations' point of view? And that's where I want to go with that answer. Maybe if you could answer that. Do you feel that there's bigger support, or there's support, and where do you want support to really come from?
There definitely could be more support. I don't feel there is. Okay, before the lockdown, before the pandemic hit, I feel like, because the theater was always lit, so I think things were picking up a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, but from what I saw is that there was a lot more interest in it. You know, this pandemic has set everything behind, but we definitely could use a lot more support from, you know, private organizations, NGOs and stuff. But then that's why you have to have a passion for it. That's why it can't just be something, a fluke or something just passive. It's something you have to have a passion for, because you will give up. Because it's really, really not easy. A lot of places don't support, aside from the theater, the people who love movies, you really won't get that much support. So that's why you have to be passionate about it. And rejection is a very, very big part of this industry. So I don't know, your guess would be as good as mine. Like, I know you're a lot more knowledgeable. And I don't want to interview you, but that's a question, and I'm like thinking about it. Where should we be like getting more support? Because usually me, I just go to NFC or personal funds, to be honest.
Yeah, I love how you're throwing that ball back at me, but I totally
because
agree.
I think
I
wish I had an answer for you, but it's something I always think about, and I'm one of those people that's not afraid to like say I honestly don't know. It's frustrating.
I might sound very contradicting by saying this, and but 2018 I was invited to our film Salute got nominated in Lagos. And what was so beautiful about it was when we got to Lagos at the Africa Magic Viewers Choice Awards, I personally saw, you know, Nigerian films on billboards. And what stood out for me was it's so different from what you would see back home in terms of Nigerian films. You know, it's always this depiction of witchcraft or people in cultural areas. They had films celebrating Black culture and Black women and people in modern day lives. And the beauty of that for me was the support not just from the government, but you had MultiChoice Nigeria on there. You had different private organizations that jump on that. And I think when that support comes from the bottom up, and not from top bottom, but from the bottom up, you know, it really shows a level of support for honoring the craft to say, I am an organization. I'm appreciative of the work that Mikiros does. And therefore we are able to plow back in her and call her a full-time actress. You know, or she becomes the face of. And I think that is what's important. Corporations need to start realizing, and maybe also the society, because we are so keen to share a South African film or South African story. I know, for example, colored people, you know, watch St. Worcester, and they watch Arends play on every day. They tune in like 7 o'clock. But what Namibian soapy is there to watch every day at 5? There's none. And it speaks a lot about the creative industry, that maybe that's what people want, you know. We want to hear about, you know, this actress Mikiros that, you know, stays in Karatura and now she needs to take a bus to work to Kleiner Cooper, and then from there, what is their journey like? What conversations are they having? And there's so many African and Namibian stories to absolutely tell.
So many Namibian stories. Like a lot of people send me their scripts as well, and and the stories that people want to tell, amazing. They're like, some of them, if you work them right, they're cons worthy. Like they could be at the Oscars. But I think there's the belief is not there. And once you don't believe in there, once it's like, no one will take me serious, and that hope is gone, and then people just give up. And there's not a lot of belief from bigger organizations, which discourages you, and then all these stories are lost. So we have storytellers that will never get to tell their stories. That makes me sad. It makes me sad.
It does. And I want to ask you, how important is storytelling for you? And when I say that, storytelling, real Namibian stories, how important is that for you?
Storytelling is everything. Like all of the other stuff is equal. Even if you have an experience, as humans, we always like relate to stories. Even if you don't experience whatever the story is, just the human aspect as a person watching it, seeing this person on the silver screen going through this journey there's always a relatability to it. Story is the absolute, the most important. And unfortunately, not a lot of proper Namibian stories have been told yet.
So we're keeping fingers crossed for more. We're keeping fingers crossed.
No, we're not keeping fingers crossed. We're praying. Blood of Jesus. Alice.
Mikiros, before I let you go, what is it that you hope for where our industry is growing, and also what can we expect from you?
For our industry, I just want the world to see what we are made of. I think Namibians are some of the greatest people you'll ever meet, in their imperfections, in all their funniness, and in all their problematicness, all of that. I don't even know if that's a word. I just feel like I cannot wait until the rest of the world sees what we have to offer, because we have so much to offer. There's so much untapped talent here, whether it's acting, whether it's writing, narrative stories, even our like fantasy stories, the myths and the legends, you know. There's so much we can say, because that's what everybody else is doing. Like, look how South Africa is doing. I mean, so that shows that there is a hunger for African stories. And
True.
yeah, that's what I hope, is that people are just brave enough to start doing their thing. Don't worry about what people are doing in South Africa. Their stories are theirs, but your story hasn't been told yet. So I really just hope at some point, you know, they'll see like these Namibian movies.
Before we get into what we can expect from you, there's a question that just came through now that says, with what has been happening in Namibia health-wise and the corruption, if you could write the story of a film like Fish Rot, who would you make your protagonist? I've always seen that as a very good and a good film, but who?
The second Fish Rot came out, I was like, this Netflix! Waar is Jelle? Where are you?
Netflix should jump on it. Yeah.
Oh, who would be? I think it would be interesting to get it from a perspective, not necessarily from the major players, but someone in close proximity to them. Maybe one of the wives or one of the sons, you know, that necessarily didn't maybe have anything to do with it, but it's still the person is still their uncle. That's a lot of that's already like conflict. That's already act 2 with all the conflict. I would take it from the perspective of someone like a relative of one of the fish rot guys, and just get played out through their eyes in the conflicts, the things that they go through.
Yeah.
And, you know, being torn between like,
they better contact me because I already love the plot. I mean, what we need to add to it though is like a 3-episode series, like you know, make it like a 3-episode, you know, in season 1, season 2, and season 3.
Definitely like a mini series, 3 to 6 episodes, or a full 10, like a 10-part episode. Not a movie. There's way too much juice to get it all in 2 hours or less. It would have to be a series, and actually, it would probably be really successful. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know. We want the money. The Netflix money, guys. That's
the Netflix money, of course. And I can just imagine, you know, the creation of jobs in that, and you know.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Yeah.
You know, you could be. Who would you star as? I'm sorry. If
I were to. Who?
You could do Esau. You could play Esau. Get you some makeup on you, little glasses. You'll have to go on a diet and gain a little bit of weight. You could get an Oscar for that. You could play no, you could. Like, if we do it right, and if the costume is right, we have like 2 months of rehearsals before we even start production. You could pull off a good Esau. You already have the look. You just get some glasses. Oh, okay, sorry. I'm getting excited.
And gain a little bit of weight. Excited. And say, okay, can we get a phone
fit,
with
so it's a little heavy.
2 SIM cards? 2 SIM cards.
Huh?
And say, can we get a phone with 2 SIM cards? Listen, Mikiros, we're getting out of time, but what can we expect from Mikiros for the
we're writing some good stuff right now, and I don't want to give too much away, but there's some scripts and not just comedy. I only have one like comedic script. We're going for a series, 8 to 10 episodes of a series, comedy, but the rest of the stuff I'm writing right now is actually a bit more darker, a little bit more thriller, centering around Black women and the struggles they face with. Lots of VVV, but in a more interesting, not typical way that you'll have to see. I really want to hit a lot of those points.
Yeah. Any last message to those that follow you, those especially, you know, the question that we had earlier on opportunities for Namibians, and, you know, if the opportunity doesn't arise as to create it, what last message do you have for those that really just want to really get in front of the camera or get into the writer's seat or really just boost their confidence? Because like my take home from this talk is really that which you spoke of, which is the importance of finding yourself. And I feel that a lot of Namibians struggle with identity. What is your message?
My message is just to start, which I think is the hardest part. It took me years to start, because you get inside your own head. You think you're not good enough, self-esteem issues, confidence. Just start. You don't have to be the most amazing performer yet, have the most amazing equipment. Just start and ask questions, knock on doors.
Absolutely.
Don't be shy. And even if you are shy, surround yourself with people that like things, that talk a lot. And don't be afraid to knock on doors, ask questions, and get yourself on sets. Even if you're just running coffee, just be there, just to see how the director do their things, just to see, okay, so that guy, he does the lighting, he does this. Ask questions, be curious, have a curious mind. Because that's really all performing is the stuff that goes on in your head and being able to express it. Don't be shy, ask questions, don't be embarrassed. Because I think a lot of people are like, oh no, they're going to reject me, they might, and that's okay. Just start, just ask. Send Adriano a DM, like, how do I do this? How did you start? Don't be shy. Me, I like things. Me, I don't care. Me, I ask. That's really hard. Really, if you keep with it, you'll just see, like, slowly but surely, things start to naturally happen. But you have to start.
You have to start somewhere. Thank you so much for that, Mikiros. Once again, congratulations on your film, on being nominated at the International Black and Diversity Film Festival in the United States of America. And wishing you all the best and endeavors. I love so proud of you.
Thank you so much for having me. And I'm so proud of you too. You do such good work. And just like you say, I inspire you. You inspire me. So I know we have to go, but in case no one's told you today, I'm proud of you. And I love the work.
Thank you so much. Gonna make me cry now.
Okay.
Okay, because.
Okay.
Bye.
Thank you so much, Adriano. Love you.
Love you too. Bye bye.
Thanks, guys, for joining. Bye.
Bye. There you go. That's Mikiros Garoes. And as she just gets to sign out there, I would love to just say to you that if you want to be on this platform as well, if you want me to nominate any actress worldwide, here locally, this is what we do every second Sunday, just to encourage you to make sure that you come to the digital masterclass with Adriano Visagie right here. And once again, thank you so much to you who's tuned in. And please get to share this video, get to inspire, make sure that that person that really needs to hear this message is definitely appreciative of it, and also get to really just watch this. From my side, adios.